Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 49ers After Dark. We're your hosts, Cohn and Jessie Naylor. Jeet, thank you for becoming a new member. Jeet also asked a question. Jeet just gets to lead off the show because he's a new member and he has a question. But after Jeet, we're going to get to 7 topics. We're going to talk big picture. We're going to talk about this game coming up. First, we're going to talk about Jeet. Which cornerback do you think will be available via trade before the deadline? I think the Niners need to trade for one if they want to go deep into the playoffs.
Well, there's already been talk about Cam Dantzler. We're talking about a third-round pick, 2020 Minnesota, 6'2", runs like a 4.38 40. He kind of fits the mold for what the Niners want to do, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I would love to go get, but who's going to be available is a whole different question.
Cam Dantzler, that's a good name. We'll see what's available. I think it's got to be someone probably on a rookie deal, someone not too expensive. The Niners don't have a lot of cap space.
For sure.
Okay, let's get into our show. Kyle Shanahan is on a streak. Every time he talks, he says something kind of slanderous about his own player, and it goes viral. Today, it was Brandon Aiyuk. He said he's inconsistent. In the past, it was Trey Lance. Said he had reverted back to some old habits. I mean, he didn't have to say much about Trey Sermon. He just made him inactive. What do you think about Kyle Shanahan's treatment of his first-round pick this year that he traded up for, his third-round pick this year that he traded up for, and his first-round pick last year that he traded up for?
So let's go one by one.
Sermon and Aiyuk.
Yeah. So let's go with Lance first. Again, I didn't have a problem with how he used him in the preseason. He was trying to, from what I understand, look at his weaknesses, get him to play through those so that he would be better. So the way that I see it is he had 3 options on Sunday that were the right options. He could have played Garoppolo all the way through. He is the starting quarterback. He could have played Lance all the way through and said that he was the starting quarterback. Or he could have done a mix, but when he brought in Lance, he could have worked on his weakness, which is playing from the pocket, and helped develop him more. But he chose option D, which is neither of those. He's going to play Lance, and he's going to completely contradict everything he said because Lance threw from inside the 10, a touchdown, which if you don't trust a quarterback from the pocket, you don't let him make that throw. And then the other 3 plays that Lance was in, he ran the ball. So let me know where he's helping him develop from the pocket because I'm not seeing it. I think it's a total misuse. Now, if he's setting things up for later in the season, maybe we'll see all of this later on and say, hey, it was much ado about nothing. But if this is the plan, this is not a good plan.
Look, I'm not going to listen to anything Kyle Shanahan says because he's constantly contradicting himself. And I almost feel like he's purposely messing with us. Right. All I'm going to do is judge him on his actions. And all I see now is a coach who's burying Trey Lance behind Jimmy Garoppolo, who they wanted to replace. So his actions say that he's not exactly thrilled about Trey. And then he made Trey Sermon inactive week 1. Where did that come from? I mean, what the hell was that? So the action there is you're not happy with the third-round pick you traded up for. And then Aiyuk, it's not that they didn't start him. He split time with Trent Sherfield. It's that they made him run 26 routes and didn't throw him the ball once. He had to be like basically clearing out. It seemed pretty freaking clear that they were trying to take him down a peg, send him a message, who knows what. But again, it's like, so now you're displeased with him too? Because of what? Because you like, I mean, Trent Sherfield's a good story, but dude, you got to make this work with Brandon Aiyuk. And this kind of tough love style of yours, does that work? I don't know. It didn't work for Dante Pettis or CJ Beathard or Reuben Foster or any of these other guys that they traded up for and didn't end up like Joe Williams.
Right. It seemed to have worked for Debo. Like Debo's looking really good right now, right? And he definitely showed him some tough love last year, but I don't know. I I just feel like there's such an ego thing with him, and I wanted to give him credit after that game because he talked about how he thought he was thinking about pulling the starters. He didn't quite do it. Then Verrett gets injured, and he's like, "Oh man, I don't want anybody else to get injured." So that became the focus, and they lost a little bit of leeway in that game, and that's how it got close, right? That's how he explained it, which I thought was him being vulnerable. I'm like, all right, well, listen, he's turning a corner here a little bit. His ego is not necessarily getting in the way. He can say when he's wrong for once. That's not something we've heard from him. But then everything since then has just been ego driven, ego driven, ego driven. So I don't know.
I just don't buy what he's saying about. Let's just focus on Aiyuk.
Yeah.
He comes out today and says he's inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean he's inconsistent? He got 0 targets week 1. You're talking about what? Like practice? I was at training camp. He was good in training camp. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't get that.
Okay, so here's the other thing, right? We were told that you can't start Trey Lance based off of a preseason because that's not live bullets. That's not for real.
You're going to bench Aiyuk based off a preseason?
Exactly.
What the hell are you talking about?
Right. So what has Trent Sherfield done in this league before this offseason? Preseason?
He had 5 catches last year. He had 1 catch this year. Trent Sherfield's a good player, but to bury Brandon Aiyuk and make him run clear out routes for an entire game seems petty. It seems personal. I don't understand where it's coming from. I don't get it.
I don't either. And again,
no, I have a theory. I have a theory right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Aiyuk spent all offseason with Trey Lance.
Okay.
Working out together. A lot of players on this team are pretty vocal in their support of Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe there's some people on this team who are pretty vocal in their disapproval of Jimmy Garoppolo starting. Maybe that's a problem right now. I'm just saying. I wonder. I don't know. But if Brandon Aiyuk is team Trey Lance, is that working against him right now? I don't know. I guess I'm not trying to get you to speculate here. I'm just these are things that pop into my mind.
Your mind goes so many different ways, Grant, and I can already see the comments after the show. You're so clickbaity. You're making up stories.
Hey, you can't, in people watching, you can't act like it hasn't popped into your head too. Is this because Aiyuk isn't really into Jimmy Garoppolo? I mean, what we know, the most famous interaction between Jimmy and Trey and Aiyuk this year is the Chargers game, interception. And it was a lot of finger pointing. Was it a bad throw? Was it a bad route? Did he sell out? Should he have caught it? I don't know. And then Jimmy Garoppolo comes out today and says, what I like about Trent Sherfield is you can rely on him. He's always in the right place at the right time. You always know. So what are you saying about Brandon Aiyuk? I don't know, man. Like, here's what I'm saying. George Kittle pulled a Brian Bostic. What's that guy's name? Is Brian Bostic?
Brian Bostic, yeah.
Yeah. George Kittle almost lost the game because he was the guy on the hands team. He was supposed to be the special player out there, and he couldn't handle that job. Deebo Samuel almost lost the game because he didn't go down after getting a first down, but Aiyuk's the one who's not a pro. Aiyuk's the one who has to learn better habits. I don't get that. To me, this is weird, and I feel like Niner fans are starting to lose a little bit of faith in Kyle Shanahan. I mean, they know him very well now. This is year 5, and there are a lot of things to like about him, but one thing after another, now it's like, what? Aiyuk isn't good enough for you? Aiyuk isn't good enough for you. I mean, we were with you with Dante Pettis, man. We definitely saw that. Yeah. Aiyuk? We all like Aiyuk. What has he really done? We're losing you, Kyle. You're losing us.
Aiyuk played really well as a rookie, Grant. Really well. So we're talking about a proven track record. Brandon Bostic, there you go. You're talking about a proven record in the regular season. Sherfield, again, had 4 or 5 catches coming into this season. So, I mean, who's proven more? The other thing, too, to kind of go with your theory, I don't fully buy into it, but I will add to it just, to
I don't fully buy into it. I'm just wondering.
But who did Shanahan blame that interception on? He said it was fully on Aiyuk.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
I've seen it 1,000 times over, Grant. That was not on Aiyuk.
It's not.
If that was on Aiyuk.
Kyle blamed him. Jimmy blamed him.
Right.
Everyone has to go down for Jimmy. Everyone's propping up Jimmy, man. If they lose this week, it's going to get crazy.
If that one was on Aiyuk, then Trey Lance's that he threw to Sanu was completely on Sanu. It was the same exact situation.
Here's the thing, Jesse. We need to move on to the next topic in a minute, but they won this week, so there's no problem. Winning's the best deodorant, right? But they're musty right now. This team is musty. And if they lose, this team could split quick. That Kyle has created a very bad situation. And it's all beneath the surface, and we've gotten little glimpses of it. But if they start losing, you're going to see certain people blame Jimmy. And you're going to see a lot of people defend Jimmy. And this is going to get messy. Now, they could start the season 7-0 or whatever, and it won't come to that. But it's like right beneath the surface. I feel like we all can sense it. It's right there. Had they lost, it would have been out there right now. But of course, they weren't going to lose to the Lions. It would have taken a miracle. But this Eagles team is way better than Detroit.
Much.
So they better, the Niners better not, I mean, the fumbles, they better play a whole lot better. They better figure out their run defense. Anyway, stakes are higher. I should have went to Philly. I decided not to go to the week 2 game. The stakes are so high right now. I blew it. Anyway.
Well, in hindsight, obviously, who knew that all these players were going to get injured and,
Had I known, I would have not gone to Detroit week 1 and gone to Philly. But I just want to say, I really like Detroit. I was talking about it with Sibylla today, and she said that the way I was describing it is it's New Orleans North. And I was like, yes, that's what it is. And I love New Orleans. My 3 favorite road trips in America are Seattle, New York, New Orleans. And I got to say, I would go back to Detroit. It was
why Seattle?
It's gorgeous. It's West Coast. It's a lot like San Francisco. Good restaurants, good gastro pubs. It's pretty. It's a lot of fun. I like Seattle, and it's close. I mean, it's like an hour and a half flight. It's accessible. You don't have to go across the country. It's nice
for sure.
And you get to go there once a year when you cover the 49ers because it's a good one. I like it. I mean, I also like LA and stuff too, but
that fan base too is rabid. So just the game experience is a good one.
Exactly. The downtown stadium is super nice, and that's what I liked about Detroit downtown stadium.
Yeah.
New Orleans downtown stadium.
Yeah.
It's nice.
That's not always the case. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I like the day of the game. I walked from the Ren Center to Ford Field. It was a 20-minute walk. I walked right through all of downtown. It was a lot of fun. That's a nice little way to kick off your day, and then came back the same way. Yeah. Since it looks like we might be 4th in the division this year, don't you think we should be developing young players? No, guys, this is a Super Bowl team. Are you kidding? This is a Super Bowl team. There is a real disconnect here. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Grant, I'm worried about this game being a repeat of last year. It's looking that way right now. Also, we need to see more Kittle. Yeah, this Eagles team beat the Niners last year. They did. They're good in the trenches. They're good in the trenches.
We're going to preview the game. So I don't want to say too much, but this game is going to be a lot tougher.
Easy Tino says, I have zero faith in Kyle. I agree. See, Niner fans, Kyle, if you're watching my show, take this seriously. They used to have your back, Kyle. Now they start to see you the way I see you. That's not good. I have zero faith in Kyle, says Easy Tino. I agree with Terry Bradshaw. Terry turned on you too, Kyle. He's below 500 and lost 2 Super Bowls. The team's already divided. You can see it, man. Kyle.
Yeah, Terry Bradshaw says your record is your record.
You
are what your record is.
He's freaking right. I'm sorry.
Do you remember in the offseason, this was probably like the first tweet that I had that blew up when I said Shanahan and Chip Kelly to this point in their career have the exact same NFL record. And everybody's like, you can't say that. It's way different scenarios. And I'm like,
no, it's not.
They both have made the playoffs once. I'm just saying.
That's bleak. My God. I want to say real quick, let's say Kyle fails. 10 years from now, we're like trying to tell our kids about what the Kyle Shanahan era was about and why he failed. You could sum it up in 15 seconds. Well, he passed on Deshaun Watson. He passed on Patrick Mahomes so he could get Kirk Cousins. But he didn't get Kirk Cousins. He got Jimmy Garoppolo. And he stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo, so he passed on Tom Brady. And then he panicked and traded up to number 3 for a guy he didn't end up liking. End of story. That's what happened.
Hard-headed.
End of story. Hard-headed. Easy. Thank you. Ninerbot says, I'm going to be objective and say the Niners lose this week. All the Eagles' strengths completely match the Niners' weaknesses. Man, I don't want to say it, But all I'm going to say is the Eagles are a live dog, and I think Vegas knows it too. Niners are a 3-point favorite.
That's not a lot. Yeah, that's that. I mean, when
the
you're
Eagles,
yeah, that's not a lot at all. That's
Vegas
not a lot.
isn't confident in the Niners at all.
No,
All the things you need to beat the Niners: mobile quarterback, guy can get outside the pocket, guy who can run away from Nick Bosa, running game. They got wide receivers. I mean, Devontae Smith. Who's going to cover Devontae Smith? This is a good player, even though he's a rookie. Yeah, and also hell of a pass rush. Yeah. Now, I don't know if any team can stop the Niners run game. I only feel like Kyle can stop the Niners run game. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. Sometimes he gets real vanilla on you, right?
He can't. Sometimes he'll be like, we can't do that this week.
Yeah. Why?
What? Okay. Amtodd99 says, Kyle, hear me out. Trade Debo. Sell high for a solid cornerback before the inevitable injury. Everyone wins because Aiyuk can be wide receiver one, except for Kyle. Dude, I don't think Kyle's thinking this way right now. I think he's thinking Debo's going to be an MVP. He loves Debo.
No. I threw out a trade. I said, trade Jimmy and a 4th to Washington. Washington sends a 2nd-round pick to Jacksonville for Henderson, who comes to San Francisco.
I'll get CJ Beathard back in the deal too.
Yeah, there.
If they unleash Lance this week, think their chances increase? Yes,
for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think a mobile quarterback Okay, enough about really Lance. I got one thing to say about Lance. If you watch that play where he threw the touchdown, the only reason that touchdown was so easy, he faked the handoff. Every single linebacker crashed the line. They're terrified of him getting mobile. This is why I thought he could start and the game would actually get a little easier in the regular season than what it was in the preseason, because he would have his legs that he can use also.
Let me give you a little history lesson, all right? First game of Colin Kaepernick's career, his first start, it was against the Bears.
Yep.
And it was thought all week that Alex Smith was going to start. Very last minute, it's announced that Kaepernick's going to start. A lot of people are trying to analyze what the Niners are going to do. Everyone thought, well, this is like an emergency start for Colin Kaepernick. They don't trust him to throw. They're going to just run the ball. And I think the Bears thought the same thing.
Yep.
What'd they do?
Threw it all over the yard.
All over the yard. And the Bears weren't ready. And Colin Kaepernick, was one of the best performances of his career. He cemented the job right there. That's what they could do with Trey Lance. Like, if you want to keep running the ball, that's fine. But as soon as they decide to let him throw and do what Kaepernick did that day, the defenses won't be ready for it. And I think what I keep saying is, like, look, you can play Jimmy, but when Jimmy's on the field, defenses are attacking him. When Trey's on the field, eventually, they'll be on their heels. They'll be on there. They'll be like, well, we don't want to do this. We don't want to do this. We're going to call these 3 coverages and we're going to spy them and just hope. You're much more reactive on defense when you have a quarterback like that.
Absolutely.
Which is why I'm really impressed with Jalen Hurts right now. I'm just saying. He looked great last week.
Yep.
That's my kind of quarterback.
Jalen Hurts looks a lot like Jimmy with mobility. To be real, the way that they're stretching the field sideline to sideline, a lot of easy dump offs, but he's also got legs to go with it.
It's true. They call a lot of easy throws for him. Mm-hmm. But to me, I like that. Like with Lance, any kind of quarterback who you really want to get him out of the pocket stuff should just be quick throws, one read stuff, keep him honest. Screen, 7-yard throw over the middle. Just kind of stay ahead of the chains, keep him honest. But the big plays come outside the pocket. That's all. You don't want Jalen Hurts hanging in there on a 7-step drop, going through 3 reads in the pocket. That's ridiculous. Get in the gun. If the guy's open, throw it to him. If not, get the hell out of the pocket and make something happen. I love that. I love this style of quarterback.
Look at how easy that run game was.
Less than that.
Yep. Look at how easy that run game was for Miles Sanders last week. Why do you think that is? It's because you have the threat of a quarterback who can also keep the ball. It opens everything up for the running back. And now that Mostert's out and now that Wilson's out, Mitchell's good. Mitchell proved he can be good, but they're getting deep into this running back.
He's not as good as Miles Sanders.
No.
Jesse, come on. Heineke Jimmy.
I'm not going to go that far.
Who are they replacing Jason Verrett with? Lenore, for sure. Who are they replacing Mosley with if Mosley can't play? We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Irfan says, should rookies be hesitant now if the Niners trade up to draft them? Yeah, that's a kiss of death. The kiss of death. Honestly, they're 0 for 7 on that one. But the funny thing is, so Cy, who's a Cohn phone MVP vet Hall of Famer
Yeah.
pointed this out. But then he just DM'd me right now. He's like, look at the guys they've traded down for. Those are the biggest busts. Solomon Thomas, Javon Kinlaw, Mitch Wishnowsky. There was one more. Aaron Banks.
Yep.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But if they don't make the playoffs this year, they're probably going to scapegoat John Lynch and be like, your draft record isn't good enough. And I don't know if it's his draft record, but he's probably going to have to fall on that sword.
We've been saying that, though.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
I don't think you read his comment.
Did I not? My bad.
No,
Grant, the reason that Trey sucked was because the defense knew it was a read option. We should start Trey to match Hurts, fight fire with fire. When you guys watch Jalen Hurts this weekend, that's what this offense should look like. And what I'm so impressed with the Eagles, they're probably going to lose this weekend, but they fully embrace Jalen Hurts. Their offense accentuates all his strengths and minimizes all his weaknesses, and I love that. I mean, that's what they are, so progressive right now. What they're doing in their offense is exactly what I would do. It's zone read. I mean, he's going to run 8 times, Jalen Hurts, and he's going to throw a lot, but a lot of those throws are going to be really freaking easy. Just screens. What's wrong with that? And when he's time to take, he'll take maybe one shot from the pocket, but when he gets outside the pocket, man, did you see that touchdown throw in the red zone when he broke out the pocket to the right?
Yes.
Jimmy can't do that. Jimmy can't do that.
No.
I want that.
The thing is Hurts even now is not as good from the pocket as Lance is. You can't sell me that he is. I'm not saying Lance is perfect. He has his deficiencies, right? But you can mask those. And if Hurts can play at this high of a level with less pocket presence, in my opinion, than Lance, then Lance would be fine.
Right. And they minimize the need for pocket presence by calling quick throws. Like, it's a one read thing. If here's a quick throw to the tight end, if it's not there, get out of the pocket. I like that. It shouldn't be that hard. You don't need to make this guy freaking Tom Brady, man. And the thing with Lance is he just needs to not throw those passes too hard. And I think he will, because he didn't in college and he didn't in practice. With Hurts, he has a real nice touch on the short throws. And I think Lance will too. Really, I do. And I think what's encouraging is Hurts looks so much better than he looked last year.
Oh, way
so
better.
Much better. Yeah. And I think it's clear you can improve a ton from year 1 to year 2, but also Hurts played last year. He started 4 or 5 games. I mean, Lance is going to need to get on the field. He definitely benefited from that experience.
For sure.
Fog City Niner says, what's popping, boys? What's up,
What's up?
Fog City? How you doing? My dog. All right. Garoppolo, week 1. It's over with. And now he's got to worry about Philly, which is a much more difficult opponent. But
for sure.
I'm curious to hear what you thought of his week 1.
Okay, so first of all, my co-host is a Lions fan, and I went to him after the game. I said, "Hey, Jimmy looked pretty good, right?" And he goes, "You know how bad our defense is?" He goes, "Let me see it against a real defense." This is a Lions fan, okay? Right, yeah. So I was like, "Wow, geez, all right." Like, I'm trying to be optimistic about Jimmy here, and you just totally crapped on it.
Right.
But I thought Garoppolo was who we thought he always was. If he has time in the pocket, he can be efficient, right?
Right.
The one thing I do want to give him credit for, though, that we have not seen is no brace and a lot more mobile and willing to stand in there and take a shot. Yeah. There was a couple where he just stood in there and pass rushes were coming clean, and he either got away from it, attempted to get away, or just stood there, took the shot, and got rid of the ball. That's something we have not seen from Jimmy since 2017. And that's really encouraging. So if Jimmy can give us that, I think the 49ers can win some games with them for sure.
Yeah, I thought he had a really nice game. I mean, you can point out that he was going against a terrible defense, but I mean, what was quarterback rating? 120 something. I mean, he was really good. They should have put away the game really quickly. They keep doing stuff like that, they might be able to trade him for something.
Well, what did I say before the game, though, Grant? I think he went 17 of 25, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Before the game, my prediction was 16 of 24.
Oh, wow.
1 touchdown, no interceptions.
Yeah, exactly.
He did what I expected him to do.
People were really excited with him. I mean, it was very efficient. People said it was the best game he's played in years. Honestly, it was a lot like the game he played against the Jets last year. Yeah. He got hurt in that game and left at halftime, but he was 14 to 16 in that game.
Yeah.
He was very efficient. Jimmy Garoppolo can dice up bad defenses, man. Especially if he has most of his players around him on offense. It's a good system. He's got playmakers. He's got a good run game. He's got a play action scheme that's one of the best in the league. I mean,
Yep.
he should be efficient. Honestly, they're not asking him to line up in the shotgun and drop back and throw 70 times or 60. They're not. It's like handoff, throw 25 times, and guys are going to be wide open. Just hit the throw. And he did. It was nice. It's going to get way harder.
For sure. For sure. But I will say this. I think he was 5 for 5 beyond. I think it was 10 yards or 15 yards in the air. Last year, he was 5 for 20 and did not look good in those situations. So good. We saw good Jimmy on Sunday. So let's see how long we'd see good Jimmy for. Hopefully the whole season.
Here's when bad Jimmy shows up. When the pass protection is no good or the first read isn't open.
Right.
Against the Lions, the first read was open every time. The pass protection was terrific because the Lions defense does nothing well. I don't know if the Eagles can stop the run, but when the Niners play their division games, if they get into the playoffs, it's going to get a lot harder.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. What is the identity of this team, Jesse? What would you say the identity of this team is?
So going into the season, we said the defense has to be a top 5 defense. They've got to be able to run the ball. But it seems as though the identity of this team is going to be the offense. Almost like it has to be the offense at this point. DeMeco Ryans doesn't seem up to speed. And the defense gets more and more depleted, it seems, by the day. Injury after injury. I know Armstead was out today, which I don't know where that came from. So the offense has to be the identity, and that scares the heck out of me because, Grant, they have the 4th best quarterback in the division. Whether it's Jimmy or it's Trey, it's the 4th best quarterback of the division. So now your identity is you have to outscore teams. I don't like that identity. That is not the identity that we expected going into the season, but it seems as though that's going to have to be the identity for possibly the rest of this season.
Yeah, it's got to be an offense-leading team because I'm not sure this is a good defense.
No,
I'm not sure. Either. Because you lost Verrett, that's big. You don't know what's up with Kinlaw, that's big. But the biggest loss is Salah. No question about it. And it's not that Ryans isn't good. It's that experience freaking matters. And Salah improved big time with it. So I don't know. You can't expect DeMeco Ryans in year 1 to carry this team. It's got to be Shanahan. And let's be frank, what they do best on offense is run the ball. And if they're going to have a plotting ball control offense, that really pairs best with a really good defense. Yeah. If they don't have that defense and the defense is giving up points quickly, they're going to need explosion on offense. And you know who provides that? Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance, man. I mean, if this defense isn't great, they're going to need to bring in someone who can score quickly. And that's what Trey Lance does. So
for sure.
The identity of this team is, frankly, the running game. And again, Trey Lance makes that better.
Absolutely does.
The identity of this team is the 21-year-old quarterback they won't let play, and the 3rd round running back they won't let play, and the 1st round wide receiver they won't let play. It's very strange, but maybe they'll embrace their identity sooner or later. Because you know what their identity isn't? The 2019 49ers, 2019 vibes. That ain't their identity anymore, even though they want it to be.
Wasn't it most of the said 2019 vibes?
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Big Worm 5104 says, "Who is good when pass pro is bad?" I'll tell you.
A lot of quarterbacks.
Mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Guys who can get the hell out of the pocket. Bingo.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not like everyone's really excited about Mac Jones. I'm like, great. But he can't get out of the pocket. So what he's going to do is just check down and throw really short passes most of the time and have a really plotting, slow ball control offense. And, that worked for Brady, but this kid ain't Brady. So we'll see how he does.
That's the thing, right? And I don't think that you're saying that can't win because it can win if everything around you is perfect, though.
Yep.
The moment that something is not perfect, that's when it doesn't win anymore, right?
Uh-huh.
And so,
in his best game, I mean, he scored 1 touchdown. Like Kyler Murray scored 5. I want the guy who can make plays, man. It's great that he's completed 75% of his throws, but where are the scores? And if you can't move around, how you scoring in the red zone? That's tough.
Well,
Brady can do it.
they lost the game, by the way. It's not like they won the game. You know what I mean? So
People are talking about Mac Jones like he's a future Hall of Famer. I
yeah,
think we need to relax.
I agree. I agree. I'll tell you who else. Quarterbacks who have been around for a long time and are very decisive. Ben Roethlisberger, 2.1 second pocket time, 13 sacks last year is all he took, and he got rid of the ball with a quickness, no run game, and terrible protection. So you got to be decisive, and Jimmy's not that either.
Yep. More 49er fans turning on Kyle Shanahan. Jonathan Sumner says Kyle thinks he's the identity. Crying, laughing emoji. It's true.
He does.
It's true. And I think that's kind of the disconnect here. Kyle thinks it's his team, but the locker room thinks it's Jimmy's team. It's very interesting. Because, Kyle's very good, but everyone knows his record without Jimmy. Everyone knows it.
Yep. That's true. That's a very, very good point.
Especially the players in the teams. 7-27. Everyone knows 7-27. Kyle has a pretty big freaking effing head for a loser coach. Man, Kyle. Remember that Ice Cube? What was it? Was it No Vaseline? Here's what they think about you. Here's what they think about you. Here's what they think about you. Kyle, here's what they think about you. It's not even me. I like you, Kyle. These are your fans.
You went no Vaseline on them. All right.
Here's what they think about you. Would you say the Super Bowl window is closed?
Okay. So I try to look at things more than just what's happening around us, right? And, one of the things that 49er fans have said is that the window's wide open, and that's why Jimmy had to start this year.
Right.
And my argument was always, it's not this year, it's next year that the window breaks wide open, and that's why Lance should start this year. But I don't know if it's that open anymore, Grant. And the reason is because they keep missing on top 3 round picks.
Yep.
Out of the last 3 years, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, your memory might be better than mine, but I'm pretty sure that they've only on Sunday, 2 guys out of the last 3 drafts who've been drafted in the first 3 rounds. So 2 out of 9 players actually contributed on Sunday. And that was Bosa, who's also been injury prone, and that was Debo. Aiyuk didn't contribute worth a darn. Banks was a healthy scratch. Sermon was a healthy scratch. Lance, we already know what happened there. Jalen Hurd. These guys aren't contributing. Ambry Thomas. Yes. So you can't continue to win that way. And the other thing, too, is the 49ers don't go out and sign big name free agents, right? They keep everything in-house. And that's because they feel like they've built these guys from the ground up. And so they deserve to be paid, which I don't disagree with that.
Also, their California team is tough.
Right. But when you aren't hitting on these top 3 round picks, you cannot survive in rounds 4 through 7 forever. So I'm not sure that this Super Bowl window is wide open as what I
There's another thing too. The fact that, look, the reason I was so confident about the Cardinals this year is because they've done everything right. They have a very talented quarterback who's on a rookie deal. Yeah. And they have spent all their cap space on other things. And they have first round picks too. Isaiah Simmons, Zaven Collins. Like, the Niners have a quarterback on a rookie deal, but they're not maximizing it because they're spending money on another quarterback. And they don't have first round picks the next 2 years. So while the Cardinals could get Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins and kind of really build up a super team, the Niners can't. They don't have first round picks the next 2 years. So they didn't necessarily maximize this loophole that exists. Arizona has. Now, if Kyler Murray gets hurt, it's over. But
for sure,
if he doesn't, this team is freaking stacked. It's not just that their offense is good, it's that their defense is even better. That's what I'm trying to say about Arizona. And that's what the Niners should be at too. There should be offense is stacked, their defense is even better, their quarterback's a baller, and he's not even getting paid. That's what you can do. That's what Philly's close to. If they can get Carson Wentz's dead money off the books, they're right there too. It's too bad the Niners couldn't maximize it, and I feel like their whole roster building philosophy is a little stuck in the past. It's a little stuck in the past.
It's broken a little bit. The only way that this window can open wide open again is if Trey Lance comes in and is a top 7 quarterback.
Certainly.
That's the only possible way, because if he's not as advertised, if he's not as good as what I've been saying that I think he will be, this team is not winning a Super Bowl anytime soon. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. You can disagree with me, but I don't think that there's many people that right now, a lot of people going into the season thought the 49ers could win a Super Bowl this year. How are you feeling right now? Because the other thing is this, everybody wants to act like that game was way out of hand and it got close in the final couple minutes. I saw a team that was getting low-key dominated for the first 15 to 18 minutes of that game. It was not just the final 2 or 3 minutes where it got close.
They couldn't
The
stop the
first 15
run,
to
and then
18
they couldn't
minutes,
stop the pass.
right. The Lions spent the whole time on our side of the field. Now, they weren't executing because they're not a good
Defensive
team.
performance was alarming against a ridiculous offense. That offense had Jared Goff, no wide receivers.
None.
It basically had like 2 or 3 good offensive linemen and a good running back. That's what that team had.
Yep.
And they put up 33 points.
Yep. And let's look at their big investments. Defensive line. Well, first of all, you let Buckner go.
Yep.
Armstead, you're paying a ton. People want to – I don't know where this 8-11 pressures came from Armstead.
I didn't notice him in the entire game. Only time I noticed him is when Jared Goff was rolling out to the right. I was like, oh, boom. There you go.
Yeah.
There.
But
Classic.
He was going against a backup right tackle, Grant, and he was non-existent all game long. So you've got a lot of money in him. Kinlaw's got arthritis or whatever the hell's going on over there. Buckner is gone. You've got Bosa, you've got Ford. All your money is tied up into these guys that are not healthy or not performing. You're not going to win that way.
Ninerbot says, have faith in Jittery. He's beaten every quarterback in our division.
He's beaten every quarterback in the division?
Jittery. You called
Mullins.
Jittery.
Mullins also.
Mullins beat. Yeah, that's true. Mullins beat Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Tony Nagatani says, talk to me when Jimmy doesn't like the play call and screams no across the field at Kyle before calling his own play. That's not Jimmy at all.
Wouldn't that be funny though?
Yeah, that'd be great. Could you imagine Brady telling Kyle no on a play calling from the field? That would be hilarious. What is this coming from?
I have no idea.
Funny. Arrogance is earned through results. Provide proof for your arrogance, Kyle. LOL. He reminds me of Bill Belichick's disciples, like Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia. They all have this arrogant attitude. It's like, dude, you guys aren't Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I know you think you have hella rings and stuff, but you don't. No one respects it when you talk like this.
You guys are not the reason for those rings. Let's be clear.
A lot of doom and gloom for 1-0, fellas. Sheesh.
Tell us where we're wrong, Matt. Gladly. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where this Super Bowl window's wide open.
Guys, Niner fans, I know you guys like to – hey, you're right, though. I mean, after the game, I was in Detroit. I wasn't grilling Kyle. He won the game. But now looking ahead, just because they beat the Lions, you can't be like, well, there's no issues here. Like, yes, there are definite issues. Right. They always say winning is the best deodorant. That win over the Lions was straight up deodorant. That was right guard. This team hasn't taken a shower in weeks. They got some stank, and we're just trying to talk about areas that they could wash in the shower if they take one.
That win was right guard, and our right guard position is terrible.
Will DeMeco Ryans have growing pains as a first-year defensive coordinator? He panicked a bit in the fourth quarter. Oh, hell yes,
he's already
we're
had
growing
pains.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him in a minute. Grant, what's your motivation in covering the 49ers? I love doing this. Are you kidding? I mean, it's what I like to do. It's what I want to do.
Is there anybody out there that would say that if this was your job, that it would not be the best thing in the world? Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Who has a bigger ego, Kyle Shanahan or Donald Trump? Dude, Kyle, here's what they think about you. Here's what they think about you, Kyle. I don't know, man. Kyle. Oh, man. Donald Trump won an election. Kyle. All right, let's talk about this game. So Jason Verrett's out. Diamond Ladore's in. He's a solid player.
Yeah.
We don't know about Emmanuel Mosley, and he didn't practice today. When I say today, if you're watching this later, he didn't practice Wednesday. We'll see what he does on Thursday. Let's say Emmanuel Mosley can't play this week. Doesn't mean he won't this week, but who should start in place of him? Let me put it another way. Should the Niners show some faith in one of their top draft picks? They drafted Ambry Thomas, and he's yet another person that, to me, Trey Lance, Ambry Thomas, and Aaron Banks never got a chance this offseason. They were buried on the depth chart the entire offseason, and I don't know why. Ambry Thomas, to me, in one-on-ones was good. Has he struggled in 11 on 11s in preseason? Yes, but hasn't had many opportunities. They've never given anything to boost up his confidence. I'm not asking you a question. I'm just saying words. All I'm trying to say is Ambry Thomas, Dante Johnson, Josh Norman, Drake Kirkpatrick. How would you handle this?
Well, okay, so I would start the rookie.
Okay.
And if he struggles quick, you can pull him. You can just have a short leash with him if you have to. But this is an opportunity to start a young player, give him some playing time, give him some confidence. They're going to run a lot of cover 3 and cover 4. This is not going to be a cover 1 team going forward. It's
that's
just
not good for Ambry. I'll tell you that right now. If that's what they're going to do, don't play Ambry. Play Josh Norman. Here's the thing. Look, Ambry Thomas played 2 coverages at Michigan. Press man, cover 2. In both coverages, you're playing face to face with dude, and you're getting physical. If you're asking him to do press bail where he lines up in front of them and then just runs away and trails or lines up off, okay, well, he didn't do that in college and he didn't play last year, so you're going to need to develop that, and he can't play. He's not functional for that. But why did you draft him then? You drafted Trey Lance to do what? You drafted Ambry Thomas to make him do something he didn't do. Usually when you take someone that high, it's because you like what he did and you feel like that fits with what you want to do. If you have Ambry Thomas in the game, here's the thing about Ambry Thomas. He faced Devontae Smith in college in 2019, did a good job, was physical with them, played press man coverage. Why don't you let him do that, man? And if it doesn't work out, then bench him.
The thing is that they could play cover 3 cloud. Where he would be pressed up.
If you don't know what a cover 3 cloud is, that just basically means, again, he's in the flat, which is what you are doing in cover 2. Good call. I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. So
but don't ask him to play off cloud. Man.
Yeah. So cover 3 cloud, maybe some cover 2, but either way, it's going to be a zone defense. It's not going to be a man defense anymore, right? And that's also what worries me.
I don't know about that, Jesse. Okay. I wonder how many adjustments D'Amico Ryans can make. I mean, Robert Saleh could have just made wholesale changes in a week. What's D'Amico really got? I'm curious, man.
But does he have the pieces to do it? That's the question. Like, does he believe that these guys can be straight up man? I don't know. I mean, with no Verrett, that's tough. It's going to be a tough task. I
don't know.
He ran a lot
to me, like, this is why you drafted Ambry Thomas. This is why you drafted Ambry Thomas.
Yeah.
This is why you drafted Ambry Thomas. Why? So you're not gonna. So you don't like him. You're gonna play Dante Johnson instead. You're gonna play Josh Norman.
That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Dante Johnson's going to start the game. I would guarantee it. I'd be shocked if he didn't. I don't think it's the right move. It's not what I would do.
Man. If Dante Johnson starts this game and Kinlaw doesn't play, they might lose, man. They might lose. I'm not picking them to lose, but anything could happen, man. One fumble, one weird bounce. Oh my God, they're asking Dante Johnson to cover Devontae Smith.
But they trust him, Grant, because look at the end of the game. When they needed to stop, who was in the game? Dante Johnson was the other corner. It wasn't anybody else.
I'm curious to see if this line moves, if Emmanuel Mosley and Kinlaw ruled out. I'm curious to see if odds makers looking at it like I am and they're waiting to see more information. This defense worries the hell out of me.
Yeah, it does.
Again, Saleh could make this work. He's not here.
Yep.
He's not here. And a lot of times these rookie coordinators, they have a plan, they have a system, things go awry, and they don't exactly know what to do. It's like, okay, your car broke down. Do you know how to fix the car?
Yeah.
I know how to drive the car, can't fix the car.
Right.
Okay, well, you got a big problem. This is, again, I keep going back to the Chip Kelly year. They had Jim O'Neill. I think he was the first time. Maybe he'd been a defensive coordinator for a year or something. He wanted to run a 4-3. He wanted to run a 3-4, classic 3-4. His nose tackle went down. He went into the season with his backup nose tackle. He got gouged for 200 yards a game between the tackles. Dude, you got to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
You got to make an adjustment. If your nose tackle isn't a stud, you can't run that defense. And you know what happened? You got fired. Everyone got fired.
Yeah.
Everyone had to get new jobs. Anthony says, can't win with injured players. After Lynch is fired, Shanahan will get fired too because another GM will want more control, can't build on bad knees. The whole thing of getting rid of Balky and bringing in Lynch and continuing to draft dudes with knee problems is just a mind boggler. Mind boggler. You would think that would be the first thing John Lynch would change.
I'll tell you this, Shanahan's not worried about his job. And it's pretty clear because if he was worried about his job, he'd be playing Trey Lance. Because if they have a losing season with the rookie,
I see it the other way.
Do you?
I feel like I see it the other way. The reason he's being such a stickler and we're saying you got to play Trey Lance because you got to think for the future. I think what he's saying is, I got to make sure I'm here next year. I don't trust you at York. If we don't make the playoffs, nothing's given in this league. I got to make sure I make the playoffs so I'm here next year. That's the way I look at it.
But if this team starts to lose, that's when you can go with the rookie and say, well, look, rookie quarterback,
that is a classic move in the NFL. It's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work, but it's a classic move that head coaches do. You can't, I got a rookie quarterback here. But Kyle can't necessarily use that excuse because he also has Jimmy.
Yeah. He's not getting fired this year. There's no way he's getting fired this year, even if it goes terrible. Lynch will, though.
I'm just saying, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't think he's going to get fired either. No. But from Kyle's perspective, you can't bank on that. You got to protect yourself. You got to protect yourself. I think that's a little bit what's going on here. All of a sudden, he's in survival mode.
Does he care? Does he? I mean, Grant. I mean, if he got fired tomorrow, how many teams would line up to take him as head coach? At least 5, I would think.
I think he cares. I don't know why. I think he cares. I don't know why, but it's a good question. I feel you.
Hey, if Denver doesn't do well this year, they'd go after him. Go get Shanahan.
Look, if he isn't doing this pivot to Jimmy Garoppolo because he's afraid of his job and he's only doing this to prove that he was right about Trey Lance and Mac Jones, then shame on him. If he's doing it because he's afraid, because he's concerned about his job, then I understand that. Jed York's your boss. You can't take that for granted. Ryan and Jennifer Woods are now members. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Don't be that petty, Kyle. Don't be that vindictive. Would you trade Aiyuk for Stephon Gilmore?
No.
The thing about corners, you draft them. You draft them. That's what you do. And the Niners are in a position where we got to get a corner now. We were talking about this in March, and you get him. You draft them.
I'd have traded Aiyuk for a stud corner like dude in Miami. I'd have done that.
Yeah, Xavier Howard. Maybe get Darius Slay. Someone who's not in his 30s. When do we get Trey Lance? Why no Aiyuk or Sermon? We talked about this earlier, man, but it's just the biggest mystery on the team right now. And it's not just that Kyle Shanahan won't play him. It's that he takes shots at them in press conferences. Like, dude, what? I put out a poll today on Twitter. What is a head coach's job? What is a head coach's job? To have his players' backs or to keep it real? Because the way I look at it is, I mean, you keep it real in the locker room, but that's family business. That's private. And the way Harbaugh always acted was, I'm not going to talk about that with you in the press conferences. I'm going to have my players' backs publicly. Kyle's not that way at all. Kyle's loyal to his ego, and his ego is being right. And so he keeps it real. End of story. I don't like it.
As a leader, you always praise in public and you reprimand behind the scenes. And he does the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Joseph says, up 28, why not give Lance a complete drive? I was tweeting about it nonstop. Grant made a great point yesterday. There were growing pains for Saleh. Let's give Ryan a few weeks. I just feel like
he doesn't have a few weeks, though. This team needs to win.
Dude, he's got the Eagles week 2, and then he's got Aaron Rodgers week 3, and then he's got back-to-back NFC West games. It's getting real. Joseph 209 says, Niners After Dark, my number one show to end the night. Yeah!
Hey, thanks, Joseph.
Definitely mine, too. Jody Moore says, a little hard on Lynch. The league is having knee problems. I'm concerned about the sport. Question, how much will Trey play this week? Here's the thing, though.
Six and a half snaps over
It's
under.
rough when all your players or a lot of your players have these knee surgeries from the past because some of them are going to have repeat injuries. How many? I think he'll play double. I think they'll go from 4 to 8. I would like to think that in Kyle's mind, he's not just being a vindictive jerk for whatever reason. He actually has a plan, and he is frustrated that people don't give him credit. But what he's going to do is he's going to say, I don't need to play Trey Lance. Trey Lance is like, if we're on a chessboard, Trey Lance is the queen. Okay. And the whole league is waiting to find out when I pull that queen out, because that's my best player. That's my biggest playmaker. And I'm not going to pull it out against the Lions. I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'll do it, but I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not going to do it. I don't have to. I think he might have to against the Eagles. So I think it's going to be more than 4 plays. And I think essentially what he's building up to is either week 3 or week 4. Maybe week 3, the home opener on primetime. But eventually when they're going against playoff teams, they're going to need more than Jimmy. That's why they wanted to get rid of Jimmy in the first place. So I think they're building up to it.
Again, I'm cool if Trey Lance starts by week 10, I'm good, right? Because again, him going to the playoffs, especially with not a lot of film on him, is a good thing for this team. But you said he's like a Ferrari, right? Is that kind of your analogy? He's the Ferrari and Jimmy's the BMW. Well, I don't know if that was your analogy. Somebody's analogy.
Yeah,
I feel like it's yours. Anyways, either way, if he's the Ferrari, week 1 they backed him out of the garage so everybody could ooh and ah as they drove through the neighborhood. This week they got to rev the engine. Week 3 they got to back him out of the driveway, and by week 4 they got to unleash him. Like he's got to get 10 to 12 plays minimum week 4.
Here's the thing. Let's look at it. I'm so cynical, but let me try to get in Kyle Shanahan's mind. They can beat the Eagles without too much Lance. If they can run the ball without Lance. We've seen that. They can beat the Packers without Lance. Yes. The Packers are soft and they're imploding. You can't say that Jimmy Garoppolo can beat the Seahawks. You can't just say that. He looked god awful against the Seahawks last year. That was a major problem. So I think week 4, you're going to need Trey Lance by week 4. Week 4.
Seahawks give him a lot of problems for whatever reason.
Oh, yes.
He had he was very efficient in the final week in 2019, but that first game was so god awful.
He had a lot of near picks in that game.
Yeah,
man.
He did.
He had a fumble. Nah, man.
He could have thrown 30 picks in that first game.
You can feel confident about him against the Packers because he's only done well against them. You can't necessarily feel like, oh, Jimmy's got this. It's the Seahawks. He's got this. No. All right, sticking with this game. This is what I'm going to say. D'Amico Ryan's problem. And I mentioned it. Just like Jim O'Neill 5 years ago. You have a system you want to run, and the person who makes it work is hurt. What are you going to do? With Jim O'Neill, it was a 3-4. He wanted to run. His nose tackle, Glenn Dorsey, got hurt. He went into the season with Mike Purcell at nose tackle, got pushed around, and it was the Red Sea. I mean, if you can't stop the run between the tackles, you can't stop anything because that's all offenses will do, a straight line to the goal line. And, the Niners don't run a 3-4 right now, but they run a very spread out wide 9. Yep. It's very much contingent on those defensive tackles being able to play like nose tackles and eat up double teams. And Kinlaw can do that. It's not necessarily a skill you draft for at 14, but if you're running the wide 9, it's important. He can do it. He might play this weekend. But if he doesn't, what I'm going to say is one way or another, I don't think they can run the wide 9 this weekend. I don't think they can. They're going against a team that plays 11-on-11 run football with the quarterback involved. And I just don't see how you can stop that with 4 guys across the front. When the Niners played the Ravens 2 years ago, they used a different front specifically for Lamar Jackson, and they really did a very good job. They lost because the offense didn't do much. It was raining, but I think D'Amico needs to have something else he can go to if this wide 9 gets gashed like it did against the Lions.
The wide 9 is going to struggle in the run game, especially if you're going against a good center. Last week, it was Ragnow, who's a very good center. This week, it's Kelsey, who's probably a better center.
That's right.
So I agree with you. The wide 9 in early downs is not going to work. In obvious passing situations, I'm cool with it. I really am.
Sure.
But even then, it creates a lot of running lanes for these quarterbacks. So you have to be very, very disciplined. So less wide 9, more pinching the line. Gap integrity is going to be important. The wide 9 that was not the answer last week, and it cannot be the answer this week. I agree with you. But can he make that adjustment? Is he willing to? Does he have the wherewithal to? I mean,
that's the thing. I don't think you can run the wide 9 without Kinlaw. Like, I don't think any of these defensive tackles can really stand up to this. And then I don't think you can run the wide 9 regardless against teams with mobile quarterbacks, teams that actually run the zone read. Yeah. I think you're really vulnerable. And what was cool about Saleh the last 2 years is he came in as a system coach from Seattle. But he developed into a game plan coach. He really did. Yeah. Every week his defense was different. And he would build the defense that was necessary to stop that team. I mean, whatever it took to beat the Rams. I mean, he had so many different things he could do. That's experience. Does Ryans have that in his bag of tricks right now? Is it even fair to expect that from him?
It's really not fair to expect that. And we thought that they would be fine this year because they'd be able to run a lot of cover 1, that they had really good corners, a really good pass rush. This team on paper was the best defense that the 49ers have had. So that can mask D'Amico Ryans a little bit, especially whenever you're aggressive and you play cover 1, that can mask a lot of problems as well. But it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do that going forward. So Can he adjust? Is it fair to expect that? I think the answer is a resounding no. No, it's not fair to expect that.
Right. So I just don't see how this defense is going to be dominant anytime soon.
Yeah.
So let's make some predictions.
Okay.
Give me a score. Give me an MVP.
All right. So offensive MVP, I'm going to go George Kittle. George Kittle had a really good game against the Eagles last year, and he is going to be crucial when it comes to run blocking this week. He had a play against Detroit where he pancaked 2 players. I think it was on the Mitchell long run. So he's going to be crucial there. I also think he's going to have to be a safety blanket. They're going to have to do a lot more quick passes this week, at least early on, to open up that defense because that defensive line is coming. Fletcher Cox, there's some good players along that line. So I think Kittle has to be the player of the game this week. And final score, it's going to be tight. It's going to be really tight. But I'm going to go 49ers 23, Eagles 20.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to go with Debo again.
Okay.
I think this is Debo's year. I think he's got that chip on his shoulder. He's about to get paid. He's about to get that second contract. And he's got more to prove. And I think the way that the Niners need to attack this Eagles defense is they can have success between the tackles, but it's a very good defensive line. They can get out in space. I don't know about these linebackers. I don't think these linebackers are going to have a good success chasing down Debo. I mean, just him doing his running back stuff.
For sure.
So I think Debo could be the Niners are going to win this game running the ball. And there's only so much that Elijah Mitchell and JaMychal Hasty can do. Like Debo has to be a big part of the running game because Trey Lance isn't yet. So I think Debo is going to continue to have a hot start to this game. And, I think the Niners are going to give up more than 20. I think they give up 24 best case. And if Mosley and Kinlaw don't play, I think they give up 30, 31. But I do think that with this run game, they should be able to score 34. I mean, they scored 41 last week. I know that the Eagles have some nice pieces on defense, but their corners can't tackle. Their linebackers aren't fast. The Niners should be able to get both Debo and Kittle on the edges and get a lot of missed tackles.
Yeah, their corners aren't the best at tackling, but their corners can cover.
For sure.
And Steven Nelson is a guy who's starting for them. The Niners could have had him 2 weeks before.
If you want to lose, pass this game. Because McGlinchey can't block. Jimmy Garoppolo. No, it's a bad matchup. They got to run. They got to run.
Yep. I agree. And those receivers are going to be crucial also in the run game for blocking purposes. They've got to set the edge as well. So
for sure. VRX707 says Kyle is playing chess, not checkers. He's playing 7D chess. Why tip your hand early in the season and have your rookie figured out in the playoff by opposing defense? Well, we said that. I mean, we both kind of agree that that's his personality. He's thinking he's a pretty arrogant guy. I don't need him to beat the Lions. He's right. I wonder how he's feeling about the Eagles, though. I mean, it's fair to look at the Eagles and say, you know what? This is a team that might be the most difficult opponent of our first 3. They might be better than the Packers.
Matchup wise, yeah. I mean, I've been saying it all offseason that I thought the Packers, they would get blown out just because they can't stop the run game.
Also, Rodgers looks awful.
It looks terrible.
Bad.
He doesn't look like he doesn't want to be there. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how he shows up. I think they play Monday night against the Lions, so we're going to see it front and center, but it doesn't look good.
Rodgers taking a lot of heat right now. He usually responds to that, but he also looks like he hasn't been working all offseason. He's totally unprepared. So there's nothing you can do to fake that. Tony B says this game will be decided in the secondary. Not sure if our DBs can guard Devontae Smith or Rieger. Better run and milk the clock. Yeah, man.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Hurts was airing the ball out. First drive of the game, he threw a touchdown pass from the pocket deep left to Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is so good.
He is. He can run routes. I will say this. The Eagles, their bread and butter is RPOs and read option and stretching the field horizontally.
RPOs.
It's not vertical. They're not a vertical pass game. They will beat you vertically if you.
They'll take like 1 or 2 shots,
right?
Just to keep you honest. But no, yes, no doubt.
These secondary players. Wow, these secondary players are going to have to tackle really well this week.
Hi.
Your hand's really clear.
What's going on there?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I guess you can't see me. I'm just okay. I'm back.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Here's what I wanted to say. So all of a sudden, like the Niners traded up for Trey Lance, and then there was this like grassroots, unexpected Jimmy Garoppolo revival movement. And people are like, you know what? Jimmy's pretty good. Jimmy was just hurt. Let's give Jimmy another chance. Kyle, 49ers, if that's what you wanted to do, what you ended up doing is a lot like what the Packers did last year with Jordan Love, except the Packers took Love with the 25th pick. You traded up for Jordan Love. You're putting yourself in a situation where you traded up for Jordan Love and you want people to say you're smart. Everyone crushed the Packers for doing this. If you really wanted to give Jimmy one more chance, you should have stayed at 12 and taken Devontae Smith because that's where he went. Or you should have just taken Kyle Pitts. Like you did Jimmy a disservice if you think he's this guy who's got a future, but you don't. You're going to run him out of town next year and he's not going to be here and Trey's going to be your starter. So how is Trey getting prepared? You guys, there's no logic. I'm so frustrated. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, Jesse.
You're not taking
certain
crazy
people
pills,
saying
Grant.
It all makes sense, that it's all going according to plan. Well, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I want it now.
Yeah. Will says, how do you think the team responds if when Kyle names Lance as starter? Any backlash with Jimmy Garoppolo fanboys on the team? Just curious what will happen. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation. I think it's split. They might need Jimmy to really like play bad, and he didn't do that against the Lions. So Eagles could be that opportunity if you want to be negative.
Grant said it early in the show, and I agree with him. Losses will blow the hood wide open on this thing. The cover will be blown, and we'll see what's really under there, and it may not be pretty. So hopefully they keep winning.
I'm just saying, guys. I mean, if you remember 2015, the Niners won week 1 and then finished 5-11 or whatever. They won week 1 in 2016, finished 2-14. Week 1 is kind of a strange universe.
Oh, extremely.
And the result doesn't necessarily, if you go 1-0 to start the season, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a good team. If you start 0-1, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad team. So not trying to overreact, but we're just trying to react the proper amount.
The thing is I think the Niners are probably going to start 3-0, but I'm still not going to be positive they're a good team.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not, because they could start 3-0, but then there's also a good chance they go into the bye week 3-2 with 2 in division losses. So, that's
all
that's
6
really
of their division games are going to be brutal. I'm not saying they're going to lose them, but they could go 0-6 in their division. They could go 6-0 as well. It's just so brutal. They're all playoff games.
Yeah. They got to get healthy though. They really, Kinlaw, Greenlaw, these guys got to get healthy, period. Otherwise they're going to have no shot against these teams.
Andrew Hopkins says Rappaport just tweeted, Aiyuk puked in an Uber Kyle got for him and lowered Kyle's Uber rating to 4.2, sources say. That is just so rude. You can't ruin someone else's Uber rating. Niners are betting on Jittery to get hurt and have Lance take over like Mahomes and Smith. Last thing I want to say, and then we got to end the show. With Mahomes, he had a lot of experience in college. He wasn't lacking for playing time. He was going from the air raid to the West Coast offense, which is a transition no one's ever made successfully. So plus they had a quarterback who went on to lead the league in passer rating that year. So there were reasons to keep him on the bench, and they did start him week 17. Trey Lance is different. He doesn't have experience. He threw 300 passes in college. He sat last year. What he needs is playing time.
Absolutely.
Not seasoning, not rest. He needs playing time. End of story.
Absolutely. And I'll say this before we end. Patrick Mahomes won an MVP in 2018. He said he didn't know how to read defenses until midway through 2019. Brett Favre said that he didn't know what a nickel or a dime defense was until midway through his 3rd season. He was an all-pro his 2nd season in the league.
You know what Favre and Mahomes have in common?
What's that?
They can get outside the pocket.
Yep. You know who else can get outside the pocket?
Get outside the pocket.
You know who else? Cam Newton. Cam Newton just said before the Patriots, he never had to really read defenses.
Right.
He didn't even know how to call out mics.
So easy.
And he won an MVP. So don't tell me that Trey Lance can't play well. He doesn't have to know all the things in the world to be a good player. It doesn't
just watch
matter
Jalen Hurts this weekend and tell me if Trey Lance can't do the same stuff. Just watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jesse, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Go subscribe to Last Second Sports for me, please. Push for 3,000 over there. Please go give us a subscription.
3,000? Oh, dang. That's more than a spreadsheet.
We're trying.
That's what's up. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Notorious GAV saying, should Destin Perry do his job? Man, I feel bad for the training staff of a team that just invests in injury-prone players. Like, hey, make them better. Hey, man, why don't you stop drafting people who have like 18 surgeries? I feel bad for Dustin Perry sometimes.
It's not fair.
Thanks a lot, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow. Niners still in West Virginia. I'm not, thank goodness. I'll be back. I'll see you.